Shocking. 1 million Muslims accept Christianity. The Jesus Revolution. In some regions, a true revolution is taking place. A revolution of Jesus. An unprecedented number of Muslims are leaving Islam and choosing to follow Christ, particularly in Iran. What would happen if a nation deeply rooted in millennia-old traditions began to transform significantly? No one expected to witness this scenario. Churches filled with worshippers while mosques report a notable decline in attendance. Yet this is precisely what is happening in the Islamic Republic of Iran, a drastic shift in collective mentality. This phenomenon raises many questions and astonishes observers. Believe it, the answer is remarkable, and you'll want to follow the whole story. Over 1 million Muslims in Iran have made the unexpected decision to convert to Christianity. Could this surge in Christianity signify the decline of radical Islam? Let's delve into this question. When most people think of Iran, Christianity is not the first religion that comes to mind. As the largest Shiite Muslim state in the world, Iran is not only deeply entrenched in Islamic traditions, but also known for strictly enforcing its religious principles. However, beneath this surface, a profound and unexpected transformation is quietly emerging. A significant increase in conversions from Islam to Christianity. This movement is not only redefining the country's religious landscape, but also challenging the foundations of the theocratic regime that governs it. The Islamic Republic of Iran was built on the principles of Shiite Islam. For decades, the government has exercised strict control over religious expression, harshly punishing those who deviate from the norm. Recently, the police tasked with enforcing Islamic laws faced international criticism after allegedly shooting a woman for failing to comply with the mandatory hijab requirement. These incidents highlight the rigid and repressive measures employed to maintain religious conformity. However, signs of dissatisfaction are evident. Reports indicate that 50,000 of Iran's 75,000 mosques have been closed due to declining attendance. Senior Iranian cleric Muhammad Abul Qasim attributed this phenomenon to a significant drop in popular support, pointing to a broader crisis of faith among Iranians. This trend coincides with reports suggesting that approximately 1 million Muslims in Iran have converted to Christianity, underscoring a growing underground religious shift gaining momentum. The term Jesus Revolution has been used to describe this growing wave of Iranians converting to Christianity. According to a joint study conducted by CBN and the International Radio Ministry, The Tide, it is estimated that 1 million Muslims in Iran have accepted Christ. This is not merely a statistical anomaly. It represents a significant cultural and spiritual transformation. The reasons behind this movement are closely tied to Iran's political, social, and economic struggles. For many, Christianity offers a stark contrast to the authoritarian and punitive nature of the Islamic regime. It conveys a message of hope, love, forgiveness, and a personal connection with God, principles that resonate deeply with those disillusioned after decades of oppression. Todd Netland, from the Voice of the Martyrs organization, highlights that Iran has one of the highest rates of drug addiction in the world. Widespread corruption, coupled with a population where over half lives in poverty, has led a growing number of Iranians to question the current system. These structural failures have weakened the appeal of Islam as practiced in the country. Economic hardships have also been a critical factor in dissatisfaction. The Iranian economy has suffered from international sanctions, mismanagement, and corruption. The resulting poverty has driven many Iranians to question the unfulfilled promises of the Islamic theocracy. A survey conducted by the Gamma Institute, based in the Netherlands, revealed that 80% of Iranians desire a democratic government and reject the republic in its current form. This disillusionment with political Islam has created fertile ground for exploring spiritual alternatives. In this context, Christianity is seen not only as a religion, but also as a means of spiritual and social liberation. The promise of democracy and human rights, often associated with predominantly Christian nations, attracts those longing for freedom and equality. The growing interest in Christianity coincides with broader calls for reform, indicating that the religion is becoming a central point of resistance against the regime. It is no surprise that Iran's Islamic leadership has reacted harshly to the rise of Christianity in the country. Conversion from Islam is prohibited, and those who leave the faith often face severe punishment such as imprisonment or even the death penalty. Despite these measures, underground churches and digital platforms have emerged as vital centers for worship and Christian education, allowing the movement to grow despite the risks. Todd Netland explains that this growth is not solely due to dissatisfaction with Islam, but also to the unique appeal of Christianity. Many converts highlight the faith's focus on compassion and forgiveness as decisive factors in their choice. For many Iranians, the idea of a personal relationship with God provides hope and action absent from their previous religious experiences. In a context where many feel betrayed by leaders and crushed by systemic injustice, the teachings of Jesus stand out as a message of hope and comfort. The words of Matthew 11 verses 28 to 30 resonate deeply in the hearts of those facing difficulties. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. These words are not merely a comfort, but a bold promise of peace and relief for those who have endured hardships for years. For many Iranians, they represent precisely what they seek, a sense of freedom and solace in a system that seems to have abandoned them. In Iran, where oppression and hardship are constant parts of daily life, Christianity has become much more than a religion. It is a symbol of personal freedom and a way to challenge a regime that oppressively intertwines religion and politics. For those trapped in the empty promises of the Islamic theocracy, turning to Jesus is like discovering a new way to breathe. It is not merely a spiritual belief, but a deeply personal act of rebellion. The Iranian government has consolidated its power based on rigid interpretations of Islam, and conversion to Christianity directly challenges these foundations. The reasons behind this movement are closely tied to Iran's political, social, and economic struggles. Over the past decades, the Iranian people have faced immense challenges under a regime that tightly intertwines religious authority with governance, often suppressing individual freedoms and dissenting voices. The authoritarian nature of the Islamic regime has created an environment where many citizens feel trapped, their voices silenced, and their aspirations curtailed. This widespread disillusionment has fueled a longing for change, not just politically or socially, but spiritually as well. For many Iranians, Christianity represents a stark and transformative alternative to the punitive and rigid framework of the Islamic regime. While the prevailing system often enforces compliance through fear and retribution, Christianity offers a message centered on love, compassion, and forgiveness. It shifts the focus from a collective, state-controlled interpretation of faith to a deeply personal and intimate relationship with God. This aspect of Christianity, its emphasis on an individual connection with the divine, has resonated powerfully with those yearning for liberation from decades of systemic oppression. The allure of Christianity lies in its promise of hope amidst despair. For a population grappling with economic hardships, including soaring poverty rates, widespread unemployment, and crippling international sanctions, the faith offers solace and the assurance of a brighter future. Christianity speaks to the heart of human suffering, providing a sense of purpose and belonging that transcends the harsh realities of everyday life. Its teachings on unconditional love and forgiveness are particularly compelling for those who have endured years of social and political injustice, fostering a sense of healing and renewal. Furthermore, the Islamic regime's punitive measures, such as strict moral policing and harsh punishments for perceived deviations from Islamic norms, have driven many to seek refuge in a spiritual framework that prioritizes grace over judgment. The message of Christianity, a faith that encourages acceptance, redemption, and personal transformation, stands in stark contrast to the rigid authoritarianism that characterizes the current system. For those weary of the unyielding demands of theocracy, Christianity presents itself as a pathway to freedom, both spiritually and socially. This movement toward Christianity is also deeply rooted in the disillusionment with unfulfilled promises. For decades, The regime has portrayed itself as the guardian of justice and morality, yet corruption, inequality, and systemic failures have eroded public trust. In this vacuum of hope, Christianity has emerged as a beacon, offering not only spiritual liberation, but also a sense of dignity and humanity that many feel has been stripped away by years of repression. In essence, Christianity's growing appeal in Iran reflects a profound yearning for something fundamentally different, a faith that prioritizes love over control, compassion over punishment, and personal connection over institutionalized dogma. It is a movement that transcends religion, speaking to the universal human desire for freedom, hope, and a sense of belonging, even in the most challenging circumstances.